First off, I'd like to give all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Rakakwadash. Double honors to those elders and apostles out there from Great Millstone who teach and rule well. Allow respect to you brothers out there on the highways and byways, preaching this truth around the four corners of the earth. And salutations to the hopeful elect that you guys may be sealed soon. And hopefully by the mercy and grace of Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, all those brothers and sisters that's in the truth, all the elders and apostles that's been teaching and ruling well, hopefully we're part of the elect. With that being said, this is your brother Dawaba from the branch of GMS here in Chicago, coming right back at you a little lesson. And hey, this is gonna be to the point, man. This is 1 Corinthians 14:40. Let all things be done decently and in order. And the reason I get this scripture right here, this really goes a lot to me and to other brothers, man, because we all are guilty of this at some point in our lives. Where we might be out there on the line, or we might be talking to brothers, or we might be doing lessons with brothers, and we got that ooh me way of doing things. Like, we got something that we want to say real bad, man, and we it's so hot in our mind, whether it be a scripture or whether we want to talk about something. And sometimes, man, we tend to forget, man, that sometimes you got to be respectful of the brothers when they got the floor. So sometimes you can kind of push another brother out just to get your point across. But you got to understand, man, sometimes you got to be respectful of the brothers, man. It might be a good idea to raise your hand. It might be a good idea just to say, hey, brother, you mind if I say something real quick? Because I've had that spirit hard, in the months before, and I've been trying my best to sit up there and control myself, where I'm respectful when brothers out there on the lines, or if I'm happen around brothers doing lessons, or just in general with brothers, or even people alone, sometimes it's just to be respectful, man. When people are speaking, talking, and they got the floor, don't be so quick to say something and just talk right over them and push them out the way, man, because sometimes, man, it's just good to listen, man, and get that knowledge from them, man, especially when you got elders and elder brothers that's been the truth for a long period of time, and they spend a lot of knowledge, man. Sometimes just hold your tongue. So I'm gonna say that again. This 1 Corinthians 14:40. Let all things be done decently and in order. And that goes for everything, man. You got to always have order about yourself, man. Always be respectful of brothers. Be respectful of brothers out there talking, and do things in order, Raise your hand, or, hey, hey, brother, you mind if I say something, But always be considerate and respectful of brothers. So with that, let me get Ecclesiastes. I'm not going to make this too long, man. I just want to say a few points on it. It wasn't nothing that was truly out the way. And this is definitely no knock to any brother, man, because I'm guilty of this way more than probably any brother on the planet, man. I mean, I know I'm guilty as hell of this. I do it or not. I do it a lot. It's not this Ecclesiastes 5:2. Be not rash with thy mouth, and let not thy heart be hasty to utter anything before Yahweh. For Yahweh is in heaven, and thou upon earth. Therefore, let thy words be few. There are sometimes, man, you want to say many things, man. But sometimes, man, you got to be careful of all the things that you utter out rash and all the stuff that you say, man. Because, you get held accountable for certain. You get held accountable for your words, man. You get held accountable for your words. And you don't want to be, brothers sitting up there talking and saying something, and you end up speaking over, and then you end up saying something so quickly, and it might not be something that you want to say, man. Sometimes you got to sit up here and hold your peace and hold your tongue, man, because you'll never know, man, because sometimes you could be offensive, and sometimes you could say something that's wrong, and you could lead somebody astray, and it might be accidental. But and sometimes you might catch yourself, man, once you say it, but the whole point of the matter is, man, be not rash, man. Be not in a hurry to say something so quickly sometimes. Sometimes you got to think. And let not thy heart be hasty to utter anything before your heart. So don't sit up here and have a thought, and then all of a sudden then you say something real quick. Because like I said before, man, it's sometimes, man, we say things and do things, and sometimes, not understanding that, man, we can be offended, a brother, or something like that. So don't be so quick, man, with your words. And don't be so quick to want to say something sometimes, because sometimes that what someone's bringing out might be very important at that moment, man, for someone to hear. And then all of a sudden, or not just that, you might speak over a brother and, and sort of push him to the side just to get your point across. And the point that he was making might, like I said before, might be important. And then he might even lose track of that thought that he had or what he was saying. And then all of a sudden now, the point that was going to be made, it got lost in the back somewhere. So my whole point is, man, don't be so rash, man, with your mouth. Don't be so rash to want to say something so quick. Sometimes it's all right to sit back and listen, even if you got something important to say. And that was the other point I want to make. Even if you got something important to say, sometimes it's okay to sit back, man, and just listen. You know, I got a scripture on that real quick, but with that, let me go to Proverbs. Oh, here it is. What is it? Proverbs. Salakia, brother. Salakia. I think it's Proverbs 17, if I'm not mistaken. Oh, here it is. Proverbs 17 and 27. He that hath knowledge spared his words, and a man of understanding is of an excellent spirit. So my thing, he that hath knowledge spared his words. So my thing, when you have this knowledge, when you got this truth, man, when you got this understanding, you know, a lot of times you don't have to say much, man. Sometimes you can use very little and get a great point across. And that's one of the points I want to sit up here and make too, man. Sometimes sometimes, man, hey, even with me, I can get long-winded at time and just get to talking and talking and talking. And sometimes it just be redundant. Sometimes the message is already there. And sometimes you could talk yourself into saying some things, and all of a sudden now you're going off. You don't want to sit up here and do that. But what I'm saying here is, this is Proverbs 17 and 27. He that hath knowledge spared his words, and a man of understanding is of an excellent spirit. So he that had his truth, he that had his knowledge, man, he don't say much, man. He get the point across and boom, bam, it's over. And then knowing this knowledge, man, puts you in a very good spirit, man, because this knowledge, not everyone knows. Not everyone got this knowledge, man. So it's a blessing for the few people, for the elect, man, and for beginning with the 144, man. It's a blessing for us to understand and to know this knowledge, man, because that knowing this knowledge, it keeps us in great spirits, knowing who we are, knowing what's to come, knowing we got a chance at mercy and salvation. So that alone, man, you know, it just keeps us in great spirits, man. Keeps us in great spirits, you know. And like I said before, this ain't to offend nobody. This ain't to certain brothers, because I'm the one that I do this more than anybody, man. I talk a lot, man. Sometimes I'm on the line. I'm quite sure I've sit up here and probably talked over a brother. That's why I try to make sure now I sit up here and say, hey, man, you mind if I say something real quick? You know, be respectful, or raise your hand, or raise the book, or, you know, something like that. Because, man, I'm quite sure we all guilty of it, man. We all guilty of it. No one's perfect, man, but we're trying to get ourselves in order and trying to be the best that we can for Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahushai. So, you know, it's just something, like I said, through the Spirit. There was one more scripture I want to sit up here and get. And Salakia, brothers, there's one more scripture I want to sit up here and get out. I'm trying to see if it's 1 Timothy or 2 Timothy, and I can't remember at this moment. So give me 1 second. I think it's first. No, it might be 2 Timothy. Now that I think about it. Here it is. Yeah, here it is. I'm gonna go to the first one. I'm gonna go to 2 Timothy 2 and 15 first. Study to show thyself approved unto Yahweh, a workman that needed not to be ashamed, rightly dividing the word of truth. And hey, we always study to show ourselves approved, man. We sit up here, we study to sit up here and make sure that the words we put out, and make sure the lessons we put out, make sure when we're on the line, the stuff that we say and do, because people listen to us, man. You don't want to lead people astray, man, by not sitting up here putting out the right messages, or sitting up here messing up the scriptures, or saying something wrong, or you think one scripture means one thing, but the scripture means something else. You know, you got to make sure that when you using these scriptures, you use them in the right context. But the point really is in 16. It is 2 Timothy 2 and 16. But shun profane and vain babblings, for they will increase unto you more ungodliness. And the reason I sit up here and get this, man, is because, hey, look, when we out there, man, when we talking, man, like I sit up here and said before, it's all right, man, when you got a point in your head, you want to get that point out real quick. But sometimes, man, we get long-winded. We say a whole bunch of stuff. And now you're getting the babbling. And once you get into that point where you just start talking and talking and talking and continuously talking, guess what, man? You could say some things that are just off target, man, out of point. And all of a sudden, guess what that does, man? That leads to you know what it says, ungodliness. You know, now all of a sudden you just sit up here and say something because you got to the point where you just talking, you know, and all of a sudden, bam, you might have lost track of your thoughts, or you might have just went off into a whole different subject, or you might have just went off all totally. Now all of a sudden you're saying something different. So my whole point is, you know, hey, like I said before, do things all decently in order, man. When there's brothers out there talking, man, don't speak over them. You know, try to find a way, you know, when they catch a break in an action, or, you know, lift up your hand, or, because we were talking about this at class the other day, you know, and it just kind of gave me a topic to sit up here and talk about, because I'm guilty of it more than anybody. You know, and I'll be the first to admit that. I know I'm guilty of it more than anybody. That's why I'm trying to improve myself and hopefully get myself in order. You know, so when I'm out there on the line, when I'm doing lessons with brother, in my everyday life, when I'm just talking to brothers, hey, not to speak over them, man. Give them the floor and let them do their thing. So with that, man, this was meant to be long. It was just meant to, you know, I just wanted just something just for, you know, just because it was on my spirit. So with that, I'd like to give all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh, by Hashem Yahushai, by Hashem Rakakwa double honors to those elders and apostles out there from Great Millstone who teach and rule well. Allow respect to you brothers out there on the highways and byways, preaching this truth around the four corners of the earth, and salutations to the awful elect that you guys may be sealed soon. With that, I always say stay prayed up, brothers. Pray for each other, because we almost up out of here. So with that, I'd like to say Kwam Yasharella and Abba Babal. Shalom.